Welcome to Manchester, the greatest city in the world. My friend behind the camera is from Liverpool, and he always starts with that with his line. You know, it's like I have to get it in there because I do like Manchester. But you know, I've come today. We've come today because we want to talk to people. I want to ask you all about whether God is real or not. And some people might say, "Oh, he's not real. I don't believe him." Well, I want to share with you 4 ways that you can know that God is real, because God does speak. He does absolutely speak. And one of the ways that God speaks to people is through the world. The world, creation. You know, if you turn to the book of Romans chapter 1, verse 20. Have you ever read that, sir? Have you ever read the Bible? You're part of it. Well, Romans chapter 1, verse... What's that? Are you an atheist? God, yeah, go on. What, you believe in what? Mother Earth.
Give birth.
Mother Earth give birth. Yeah.
No, my mother gave birth.
Oh, yeah. Right, who gave birth to your mother?
Well, that's a generation. Come on, mate, you go back.
Eventually...
I don't want to go there, mate.
So you like science? Science, yeah. Have you...
I don't believe in all
Do you know about mitochondria, sir? The mitochondria DNA passed on from every single mother to every single child proves that we all came from one woman. And they call her mitochondrial Eve. This is science, pure science. Science backs up the Bible. We all came from one person, absolutely. Right, you go and chat to me. I want to speak to you today about how you can know that God is real. That God is real. Okay, and we're going to look at 4 different ways that God actually speaks to us, because we don't hear him in an audible voice anymore, do we? Like some people in the Bible did actually hear God speaking to them. On Mount Sinai, you know, where Moses got famously got the 10 Commandments. Well, when that happened and the people, the Israelites, heard God's voice, it was too terrifying for them. And they said, "Moses, you go up the mountain instead. We can't cope." So if he did speak audibly, we might be quite scared, to be honest. But there are 4 ways that God speaks to us today, and that we can absolutely know that he's real because of this. And the first way is through the world. You look at the world, to me, with my eyes open, it proves there's a God. And Romans chapter 1 verse 20 says that as well. It says that when you look at creation, you are without excuse, because you can see the invisible God from the visible things that he has created. And you know, how did we get here? How did the world get here? How is there such design in the whole of nature? How is it that we've got irreducible complexity of organisms in our body that have to all be there for us to function, that could not have evolved? How can we have species that rely on certain plants and other insects in the whole animal chain to all be present at once to survive if all of those things evolve separately? You see, creation is real. God made the world, and if you look at the world and scientifically analyse it, you will say, okay, there must be a God, there must be a creator behind the world. That's one way. How else does God speak to us? He speaks to us through his word, through the Bible. When you read the Bible, you find lots of facts in there, and every single fact can be proven archaeologically, scientifically, psychologically. Yeah, if the Bible says something happened in a certain place, you go there, you dig up, you find evidence of it. This is why, there's museums all around the world full of ancient artifacts. It's because they read about something happening in the Bible, they went to that place, they dug it up, and hey presto, they found loads of evidence, ancient artifacts, and then it goes into a museum. It's psychologically accurate. It speaks to the human condition better than any other book. Why? Because Creator God knows who he created. He knows humanity, understands humanity. And he became human as well in the form of Jesus, to understand it even further. So it's historically accurate, it's psychologically accurate, it's prophetically accurate. The Bible predicts things, and those things come true every single time. Now, you cannot write these things without having prior knowledge of these things having taken place. Now, how do we know? How can it be so accurate? Because God knows what is going to take place, so he can perfectly predict it. But if you study the Word, I'm sure you realise that the God of the Word is the God of the Bible, is God, and that there is a God through His Word. That is one way He can speak to you. Another way He can speak to you is a bit like what I'm doing today. Now, no, I'm not going to make a phone like this lady here, but I'm trying to speak as loud as I can. And I'm being a witness. I'm trying to witness to you. I'm trying to tell you of the great hope that I have, so that you can have that same wonderful hope as well. And you might have a friend as well who said some things like this to you. You might have Christian friends who've shared things about their faith with you. And God has put these people in your path, just like He's put me and Paul today in your path, so that you will hear the great news about Jesus today, because it's wonderful news. So we are witnesses of these things. That's the third way that God speaks to us. Through the world, the evidence of creation, even as a creator, through His Word, the Bible, which is completely infallible and accurate, perfect, even though it's written by 40 different people who half of them never even met each other. Then it harmonises perfectly, correlates, and predicts things that have all come true. And through witnesses, the third way. So how else can God speak? He sometimes speaks through worries. Through worries. Sometimes things can be going great in your life and you don't have a care in the world. You certainly don't give a care to God. But then something bad happens and suddenly you start thinking about God. Thinking, well, maybe there is a God. Or you maybe start blaming and saying, well, God, why do you allow this to happen to me? And suddenly, hey, there's a conversation going between you and God. And beforehand, there hadn't been a single conversation going on between you and God. But that worry that God has sent in your life has caused you to realise the frailty of your own human existence and how you need a God, how you need Him in your life. So He sometimes speaks through worries. I know sometimes, bad things can happen. If that bad thing that happens to you causes you to turn to God in those difficult moments and those dark times, then it's a blessing, isn't it? And it's a good thing that God brought that upon you so that you could come to Him and have that relationship with Him. Because we all worry about things, don't we? But He said, cast all your worries on me because I care for you. He cares for us. Now, what's the proof that God cares for us? So I tell you, it's the fact that He sent His Son, Jesus, who is also God, to come and die in our place. He died on the cross, a terrible death, and He paid the punishment that we deserve, so that we can get off scot-free, so that we can go to perfect heaven. He's paid punishment that He's paid for our crimes, basically. The judge of all the earth became the guilty. He paid for our guilty crimes on the cross. And now we can go away forgiven and guilt-free and sin-free because of what Jesus did on the cross. That's the proof that He loves us. So God speaks to us through the world, He speaks to us through the Word, He speaks to us through witnesses, and He speaks to us through all kinds of different situations, worries in our life that cause us to turn to Him. Now, if that's something that you agree with, or maybe you disagree with, please come and chat to myself and Paul, and we've got lots of literature we'd love to give you, which will explain all of these kind of questions. And there's a little booklet here called Life's Ultimate Questions. I'm going to give to my little friend there. Would you like this, madam? Would you like one of those? There you go, take that to your mum. Thank you. There you go.